Hello and welcome to BQ Conversations. Auto companies gave their data yesterday for the month of February, and the passenger vehicles industry again showed a year-on-year growth. But the month-on-month trend showed that some slowdown is awaiting the sales growth in the upcoming quarters. So we have with us Shashank Srivastava, the Executive Director of Sales and Marketing in Maruti Suzuki. First of all, sir, I wanted to start with the comments that industry experts have been making. They're saying that the retail sales growth have been showing some signs of slowdown, and wholesale sales also indicated a decline or flattening of sales month on month. Are you of the same view, and what's the reason behind it?
Well, I think it's not really clear that way. Although I understand that there are some industry analysts who have said exactly what you just mentioned. Because if you look at the wholesale numbers for the month of February, they are at they were 335,500 approximately, against about 303,000 last year. So that's a growth of 10.6%. Now, this is also the highest ever February wholesale in our auto history. So in that sense, it seems like a very good number. The wholesale number looked to be really, really good. They are the highest ever February numbers. But when you look at retails, retail are about 303,000 against last year's of about 275,000, still about a 10% growth over last year. And this is the first time ever in our history that February retail number have crossed the 300,000 number. So in both sense, I think we can't really conclude that there is some sort of a slowdown. However, I think what the industry experts have noted is that in comparison with wholesale, the retail number this month was lower. As a result, the stock, which was at around 184,000 at the beginning of the month, has built up to about 218, 219,000. That means there is a 3 weeks inventory now. This is after a long time that we are seeing three levels of inventory, which are 3 weeks. Probably that is, making them conclude that there is a slowdown. However, actual data so far hasn't really indicated that. There are, of course, basic economic fundamentals which can lead to the slowing down of the auto sales. That is true. But yeah, that is where it stands as far as February is concerned.
So if you look at the discount levels and the waiting periods, they have said that the waiting periods are also reducing. Would you say that that is also a sign of some sort of slowdown in sales growth in that sense?
So there also, it's not really clear. So it looks like a tale of two cities, as they say. In one city, you have many models which have got no waiting period and actually discount. These are vehicles which have got a relatively higher production. And there is another set of models where because of the semiconductor issue, the production has been erratic and has actually been lower than what the demand is. And there the waiting periods have actually gone up. So if you, for example, in our case, the Ertiga, the Grand Vitara, the Brezza, the XL6, these are some of the models where we have seen the waiting periods are high. Whereas in other models like the Celerio or Alto or Wagonar, we have seen very good production, and as a result, the availability is so much better. So it is again not really clear, but probably when the production becomes normal, we'll get to know exactly where things stand.
Okay. Coming to the fundamentals that you talked about, the GDP print came in for the October-December quarter, and it was around 4.4%, which was lower than what economists was expecting or the industry was expecting. And now they're estimating that the GDP growth for FY24 will be somewhere around 5.5% if we take an average of various opinions with the economist. And there is a concern of that IMD has flagged that there is a rise of risk of heat wave and El Nino disturbing the monsoon. So has this affected your outlook for the auto industry in any way for FY24?
Yeah, so I think when I spoke about the economic fundamentals,
Hmm?
we are speaking, these are exactly the things which I was referring to.
Yeah.
One is that the auto industry growth is very closely related to the overall economic growth. So it's
Yeah.
like a very good correlation
Hmm.
between the economic growth and the auto industry growth. Those are historically, highly correlated. So that
Hmm.
any lowering of estimates of those growth figure obviously indicate the stress on the auto growth as well. But that's a basic economic fundamental.
Okay.
Second, the auto industry retails is largely dependent in India at least on financing. So
Hmm.
about 80% of the retails in the Indian auto industry is through finance.
Yeah.
And if when the repo rates have gone up almost 250 basis points ever since the central bank started tightening the repo rates from starting from 4th of May till the
Hmm.
last one which we saw, 250
Sure.
basis points has been the increase in repo rate, and that has now started seeing a partial pass through into the auto loan retail rates as well.
Sure.
Most banks have increased between 180 basis points to about 225 basis points. Some of the banks have increased actually 250 basis points as well.
Okay.
So this should have, as fundamentally a negative effect on the overall sales. And third is like the for the Maruti Suzuki, we have our portfolio almost 44% is rural sales, and rural sale is incomes are hugely correlated with agricultural income, which are
Hmm.
correlated with how the monsoon performs and so on. So
Yeah.
the effect of El Nino can be negative for the agricultural output, and that can push up the inflation and also lower the rural incomes. Both are actually not good for auto industry. So yes, you are right. These are some of the fundamental economic factors which can go against. On the other hand, there are positives also going
Yeah.
for us. A growth of 6.5% also should be positive for the auto industry growth. And secondly, the budgetary provisions of infrastructure spending, can have a very good effect both on the supply as well as on the demand side management. So I think there are some positives, some negatives, and for FY24, as far as your question on the projection is concerned, we have the projected 5 to 7% growth.
Yeah.
So this year, expected industry PV sales should be about 3.8 to 3.9 million units. And next year, we are projecting it to be between 4.05 to 4.1 million units.
Sure, sure. So that figure that you gave 4.5 to 4.1, 05 to 4.1 million, that was based on the assumption that the GDP will grow around 6.4 or 6.3% around that assumption. So now that the most of economists are saying that it might not go that high and might be around 5.5%. So what could be the impact on the overall industry volumes according to you?
Yeah, so there would be some impact, and although we haven't really worked out that impact immediately, because it's a range, it is just possible, like it has happened earlier also, that the monsoons were normal when the El Nino was actually predicted to lower the output. So we can't really revise a number basis some speculation,
Sure.
and because this come in every day,
Yeah.
that. So some economists will predict a 5.5, somebody will still predict a 6.7 or 6.5. So
Sure.
therefore, we have to be careful though and see how much of what prediction comes out to be true. So if,
Sure. Sure.
if a 6.5 is coming out to be true, then maybe we look at a higher figure. But if really the 5.5 seems to be coming true, then we have to modify accordingly. It's really an ongoing exercise, not
Sure.
specific to one particular day.
Sure, sure. Coming to your recent launches, Jimny and Bronx, how have been the bookings? Can you share any numbers with that respect?
Yeah, yeah. So if you, I mean, you know that we have launched the two cars, unveiled them in the Auto Expo
Hmm.
in January.
Hmm.
And so far, the response seems to be very good, even though we haven't really announced the prices and not started the deliveries yet. But the
Hmm.
booking for the Fronx are about 12,000, and for the Jimny about 21,000, which is,
Okay.
I feel, a fairly good number. to begin with.
So are the numbers encouraging enough to say that you'll be improving your overall market share in any significant way over the next few quarters?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because these two are in the SUV space, and while in the non-SUV space, Maruti's market share has been increasing in the last 5 years to 65% plus. But it is in the SUV space, and SUV is a growing segment that has pulled down our overall market share. So we had only the Brezza in our portfolio against 46 other rival brands in that segment. Which obviously meant that we had to strengthen our portfolio in the SUV space, and we did it with the Grand Vitara, and now with these two models, Fronx and Jimny. I think next year we can aim to be the number one SUV manufacturer, and surely that increased market share in the SUV space will help us achieve our overall objective of getting to that 50% market share in the future.
Okay. What have been your production levels till now for the FY23?
So production, if you see this quarter, it is in that overall, if you put together exports as well as the OEM supplies, would be in that range of 175,000. However, for the domestic market, if you had seen last couple of months, January and February, it would be in that range of 150,000 or so.
Okay, so why I'm asking that because I've added your numbers for month-on-month production volume that you gave, and it comes around something around 17.7 lakh, if I'm not wrong. And the target has been about of 2 million production, and the last month is remaining now for FY23. So now can you say that because the average production, if we see, and you have already said, the company has already said that the supply chain will be affected more for this month compared to the previous months. So can we say now that at least 80 to 90,000 will be the shortfall in the overall target?
Yeah, so it is like we are still looking at our March numbers very carefully. Remember, we don't have the visibility yet on the availability of semiconductor for the full month. So we will keep revising this number as we go along. And that has been actually the feature of the whole of the semiconductor crisis we have seen in the last 2 years, which is that the visibility of the availability itself not very clear. And that's why the frequent revision of course, and that is the reason why I'm not going to give a exact an exact number as to what we will end up with, because Q3, if you recall, we had lost 46,000 cars of production due to the semiconductor issue. We lost numbers in January and February as well, and March actually we are going to lose more numbers than what we did in Jan and Feb. So overall Q4 there would be a loss as far as production is concerned, and we also believe that going forward in the next few quarters as this problem will continue. The problem overall is not just the non-availability but also the visibility, and that is why we have not been able to give that guidance on the future numbers.
Okay. Any target for FY24 that you're looking at?
Of course, we are target, but I'm not allowed to share the forward-looking numbers. We are a public limited company, and it's some of the information could be market moving.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was my last question to you. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Vinay.